Hey family, how you doing? A solution, according to its definition, is a means of solving a problem. The description of the Justice Empowerment Solution is that it provides the means to heal our men and women, create a future for our children, and build industry for our people. On this page, we have both the description and the illustration of the Justice Empowerment Solution. Notice that the description has been expanded to include the means that are provided: people, money, and infrastructure. So the Justice Empowerment Solution provides the people, money, and infrastructure to heal our men and women. It provides the people, money, and infrastructure to create a future for our children. And it provides the people, money, and infrastructure necessary to build industry for our people. And it does so systemically. Below the description of the Justice Empowerment Solution is the illustration of the Justice Empowerment Solution. The illustration is comprised of components, subcomponents, functions, rules, and policies. Functions, rules, and policies cannot be seen, but they are present. Now, whether we speak of the description or we speak of the illustration of justice, both result in the manifestation of a system. The Justice Empowerment System is our infrastructure. Notice also the transparency of justice. The grassroots demand transparency. Members of justice are provided access to all justice activity 24/7. The Justice Empowerment Solution's very first objective is to transform this empty solution that we see on screen into what we refer to as Day One, the launch of justice. On the day that we reach 400,000 members, we declare this day as Day One, the launch of justice. This is our first objective. Notice that $300 million is the average total in a 12-month period. This extrapolates to $25 million per month. This illustration does not include donations, by the way, though we may expect that donations alone will not only equal, but may very well exceed the average total of $300 million. Once we achieve our Day One objective, the system is now perpetual and fully operational. The system perpetuates the solution. It makes it repetitive. It makes it continuous. In our very first objective, we have nearly 500,000 Black, like-minded people in solidarity, hundreds of millions of dollars, and a system that is designed to heal our men and women, create a future for our children, build industry for our people, and is governed by principle. Principle, according to its definition, serves as the foundation for a system. The Justice Empowerment Principle is to ensure the survival of our people, Black man, Black woman, Black child, advance and defend the interests of our people, educate our children to further ensure, advance, and defend the interests of our people, American descendants of slavery. Principle is the shared agreement between all members of a system. And it is our responsibility to promote our principle, not only for ourselves, but for the sake of our children. System is a people in support of their principle. The most effective real-world motivation for principle is to achieve system. The most effective real-world motivation for principle is to achieve system. Such is the power of system. The significance of principle and principle's correlation to system is so extensive that to provide complete comprehension would serve as a distraction from this presentation. So to summarize its meaning, I say only this. Principle has defined the resurrection of the nuclear black family as the cornerstone of our continued existence and stands against all that has been weaponized against us. Those of indifference or opposition have chosen to be excluded from justice, therefore unable to speak on our behalf. Principle draws the line. Not you, not me, certainly not them. Principle draws the line. Now, we have deviated slightly from our message in order to emphasize the significance of principle and its correlation to system. But we now refocus our attention and return to the solution. We left off stating that our initial objective of day one, the launch of justice, consists of nearly 500,000 black like-minded people in solidarity, hundreds of millions of dollars united by principle, and a system of our own. Millions more of our people will not stand idle as hundreds of thousands invest hundreds of millions for the purpose of creating a future for our children. Justice is not only expected to grow, but it is deliberately, intentionally designed and prepared for the growth of our system. But the question is, how do we ensure the first 400,000 member participation? In other words, as illustrated on this page, how do we guarantee the transition of justice from A to B? This issue is resolved by the Justice Empowerment Solution having created a temporary shell organization will allow black content creators, the BCC, to recruit, organize, and mobilize themselves, and all other B1 content creators, in preparation for the launch of justice. And a contract will be signed by each member. Each individual member of the BCC, whether that be 10, 20, 30, or even 100, will receive $10,000 each upon achieving the Justice Empowerment Solutions 400,000 membership objective, using all means available. In addition, many of these black content creators are not only recognized as essential to the launch of justice, but many are also expected to contribute to building the multi-million-dollar black media network resulting from the launch of justice. Once we have achieved the launch of justice, then the temporary BCC organization is dissolved and is now replaced by the functions of the Justice Empowerment System. On that day, on day one, the Justice Empowerment System is now manifest and fully operational. The input component of the system replaces the dissolved BCC organization as the gatherer of resources. Now having a payroll and a budget of over $1.25 million on day one, the purpose of the input component is to ensure that the system continues to recruit our people, not only by way of social media, but from wherever our like-minded people exist. Churches, organizations, the NOI, celebrities, athletes, workplaces, military, the homeless, and even prisons. It also continues to gather resources, tangibles, from other available means, including donations, oftentimes rubbing elbows with the rich and shameless, as well as the many groups and organizations and corporations which our black dollars have supported for decades. The input component consists of multiple think tanks that ensure that the system remains continuous and uninterrupted and maintains the ever-increasing growth of the system. Now, the output component. The output component is the builder component of the Justice Empowerment System. Not the hammer and the nail, per se, but rather the blueprint. Its purpose is to visualize the overall architecture of the course laid before us. Typically, before requesting an endorsement from principal to proceed with a build project, before requesting an endorsement from principal to proceed with a build project, the output component is to ensure that all the I's are dotted, all the T's are crossed, research presented, and revenues projected, and all within a narrative befitting of the justice principle. Still, some endeavors are less intense than others. One certainty is that new revenue streams and employment opportunities will arise from amalgamating existing black businesses. Imagine all black businesses under one umbrella. Another example is a nationwide black directory and call center. A black directory and call center is necessary for a myriad of reasons within black communities across this country. Whether it be a Keisha alert, legal assistance, healthcare assistance, a black SBA loan request, on-site news coverage, want ads, a call to action network, or emergency evacuation. And this is just to name a few. A nationwide call center literally consists of little more than a cell phone, proprietary software, proper organization, and training. But it might result in the employment of hundreds, if not thousands, of our people. Now, this would prove difficult for an individual black business, but it's made more credible by a people who are building industry. On day one, we are no longer a people of powerlessness. And this is reflected in an almost immediate reversal of institutional theft. Never again will our talented artists, songwriters, and producers not own their own masters and publishing businesses. And obviously, will industrialize black cosmetics, beauty, skin, nails, and hair. The list could go on indefinitely. Black creativity is limitless. It is infinite. Business may be built by a person, but industry is built by a people. And it becomes contagious. There is no area of activity in which we won't excel. Per this illustration, media is but the first of our industries. And we will ensure that it be one of extraordinary prominence. This presentation speaks primarily to the legacy that we leave our children. Justice is an industry builder. Justice is a healer of men and women. But first and foremost, justice is our future. It is our children. Not only is justice transformational, but justice is also transgenerational, meaning that our children's children will manage justice in their time. But that depends on the legacy that we create and leave for our children today. Tell me this is not the work of liberation. As we come to a close, understand that this presentation has been greatly consolidated to simply summarize the Justice Empowerment Solution. Its primary purpose has been to demonstrate moving our people from A to B. Having learned the lessons of our forefathers, we use black people, black dollars, and a black system governed by principle. Family, for the next few minutes, please take time to listen to the issues that many of our most prolific black commentators have been trying to hammer home to our people for decades, and determine for yourselves whether or not justice is the solution that we seek. Ask yourselves if the Justice Empowerment Solution does in fact provide the means to heal our men and women, create a future for our children, and build industry for our people. Be one, family, and I look forward to your comments.
You're in a life and death situation. And here you are still acting as if you're in Disneyland.
And I'm making the same point today that we're not going to get anywhere unless we fund our own revolution. We fund our own liberty. And you do that by redirecting your own black dollars.
Black people are failing, and it is our fault that we're failing because we continue to ride with the same bullshit.
We have spent so much of our energy and time trying to be accepted, trying to be integrated, trying to be a part of a system that does not want to accept us.
And the only way we as a people are going to be free is that we have to do everything on our own. Yes, I know about a wealth gap. Yes, I know about white supremacy. Yes, I know about all of that. There's a lot of black people right now working on things. They got some great ideas. They're trying to build up the black community.
If we had an all-encompassing comprehensive code as black people that govern our society, that everybody adhered to and everybody was held to, That right there, that's it. You separate the people from having a code and everybody's wildcatting and independent contractors and doing their own thing. They're going to have you busted up before you even started.
If we do not come up with our very own solution to our very own problems, the result will be death. The only natural thing that will happen is these people will succeed in genetically annihilating all black people on this earth. Say it ain't true, say it can't happen, blah, 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 blah. But we don't pull the strings, we don't make the moves. We simply respond to the strings being pulled.
Brothers and sisters, do you know what the Black Channel could have done with $14 million a year? Hell, do you know what we could have done with $5 million a year? Do you know what could have happened if we had a fraction of that?
Media is a voice. And in the modern age, it's an indispensable one. Do you truly think that we can do without having the ability to define ourselves and to counter-program against our enemies? We have so much to say, and we have the best way of saying it, but almost none of it's being heard because we don't think enough of it to give our voice a proper platform.
We, brothers and sisters, have to build our own economic system and create our own markets that determine what's valuable to us, because as long as white people, white America, the government, as long as they have the right to determine what's valuable to black people, we will always be undervalued and devalued.
And y'all, again, what can you do? If anything, this situation just shows me we got to get our own everything. Integration just totally raped us. Like, we got to get our own everything, our own helicopters, our own cell phones, our own satellites, our own routers, our own skincare products, our own makeup, our own clothing, our own underwear, our own shoes, our own dentist, our own toothpaste, our own everything, everything.
When we continue to protest the white media's mistreatment of us rather than do the smart thing and build our own media, then we're committing a crime against ourselves and against our children. And that's the true sin right there. Because black people continuing to try to lobby white folks for better treatment in their media, this conditions our children to think that there's something of value in the white media that we are simply incapable of creating ourselves.
I always remind us it's time for us to unify amongst ourselves. It's time for us to operate as a black nation within a nation. It's time for us to legally and righteously defend our lives, but also stop striving to be a part of your oppressors' lives when they mean you no good and they show that they will get rid of you at the blink of an eye.
Organize or die. Organize, organize, organize. We're not outnumbered, but we are out organized. Those words come from some of our best minds and revolutionary philosophers, from Marcus Garvey to MLK. Whether we're encouraging black people to go back to Africa or leading people to a political change in America, the key to every movement that had even a minute chance of being effective was organizing, always.
And racism functions as a system. When we look at it, then we understand what has been happening over the years that got us where we are today. We understand that the goal is to educate the woman while we lock up the man. We understand the power in making sure the woman is educated, making sure she's marriageable, not for the black man because he's incarcerated, but for the white man.
In order for us to be in the state that we are in today as people, we have to be out of our minds. We literally have to be crazy. It is necessary for us to be crazy.
If we do not figure out a real solution to get Black people organized globally, then y'all, that means that white people successfully and their other counterparts that, you know, they ally with and they work together and in cahoots against us, they will successfully dominate and exterminate Black people.
This is why when we talk about creating changes in our people, we must talk about then the presentation of a total system, not just a jobs program, not just a housing program or this program. You must offer as a total program that involves housing, religion, education, economics, the total thing, and all of those things wrapped in new symbols and new means for which the people can respond, such that then the older system loses its control and power over the personality of the individuals. If we as a people, though, have not developed our own potentials and our own power, when this man decides to divorce us, and sometimes in the future, we'll find that we are in worse shape than when we really started. So the point is not to become one and to unify with this white man. The point is to develop our own potential as a people and to develop our own power so that when he decides to walk out on us, we can say, go ahead, hit the road, Jack. That if you look at the wealth of Black people in this country, we're about the 9th or 10th richest nation, but we refuse to think of ourselves as a nation. And we refuse to act as a nation. That is the poverty, not the lack of money.
But I would much rather not talk about Fox and CNN and MSNBC because to me, they don't matter. They don't have the demographics that you reach. They don't have, matter of fact, I was telling our Black Party that the other day. They started our Black Party. And I'm saying, what is this rush to want to go to MSNBC and CNN? They're not reaching Black folks. When you look at the actual viewership on all of them, you're talking about 100, maybe a CNN would get 1 million on their best day. Maybe MSNBC would get a couple of 100,000, maybe close to 1 million on their best day. When I look at collectively, the numbers that you guys are doing in your spaces collectively, you exceed those numbers. So if we can keep the conversation on us, Black first, and not keep talking about how much power that they should or should not have and create our own, I think is more productive.
Us to do. We got to have self-reparation. We can't even wait on no goddamn plaque, all this shit niggas talking. But nigga, we so far in the goddamn hole, if we don't self-reparate our own goddamn self, it all is fucking lost. And that's just facts.
The original Plan B, society really only has 2 levers that they can pull. And those levers focus heavily on the Black man. Now, if you go back to the essay that I read at the beginning, where it said, hey, if we want to get rid of these Black people, we need to send away the Black men and we need to reproduce with the Black woman, because by the time 3 generations goes by, that Black child will be a white child.
Building up a platform for your baby so you don't have another generation of niggas. The only way we won't have another generation of niggas if we do the necessary things to destroy the nigga making machine. But if we leave the machine intact, if we leave the unseen hand who pulls the lever, when we talk about the assembly line of niggerdom, and you see every day, a hand go up and pull the lever and the machine turns on, and you see, all the poverty, everything that's needed as ingredients for the making of the nigga start to come down the assembly line, and all his henchmen take a little piece of poverty, a little piece of terrorism, a little piece of white man, the white man is God, wicked philosophy, and put it and just add it all to the bowl. And then you wait to the end of the goddamn assembly line for the nigga to roll off the assembly line, and then you say, man, look at the nigga, look at what the niggas is doing.